Hey you guys, I'm Stacy and this is Gorgeously Aging Advanced, and today we are going to do a combination peel. This is going to be a TCA peel. This is 13%, along with the Vitamin A Dream Peel. These we're going to use together, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how to get the best results with a TCA peel. So let's just go step by step through this process. I have started today by cleansing my skin twice with the CeraVe Salicylic Acid Cleanser. The reason I use that is that salicylic acid is oil soluble, so it gets deep into the pores, and doing a double cleanse really helps prepare the skin for the peel. Another way to prep the skin prior to peeling, get it ready for peeling, is to use retinol. I use an evening tretinoin. And for me, because I've been on that for so many years, I use it right up until I do the peel. So I did my tretinoin last night. If you are new to tretinoin and your skin is really irritated, I would suggest backing off on your tretinoin prior to doing a TCA peel. Now, another great tool for really good success on brightening the skin and prepping for a peel is the Fade Bright. This is wonderful. I've had like 3 bottles of this. This is something that you can use on its own as a treatment for hyperpigmentation and melasma, and it's something you can also use post-peel. And if you have darker skin, you'd want to prep with this for 10 to 14 days prior to a TCA peel. Darker skin on the Fitzpatrick scale tends to be prone to melasma or post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, and this will help reduce that risk if you have darker skin. It's also great if you have lighter skin. So there are a few points of concern for me. I've had this little bit of hyperpigmentation for a while, and it's been, over a year since I've done a TCA peel, so I am overdue. One thing to note about TCA peels is you'll often see on social media and TikTok that people are using higher percentage TCA peel and showing these massive flaking of the skin. That isn't always better. It's always best to start with a lower dose. This is 13%. And it comes, I like these because they come in these small bottles that then stay non-contaminated. They do have some larger bottles. So 13% TCA peel is great for starting, but it can also be built up into layers. So if you are brand new to it, 1 to 2 layers. If you've been doing it for a while, you can go up to 5 layers of TCA. Now, where the Dream Peel comes into play is at the end. We're going to top everything off with the Vitamin A Dream Peel, and this will infuse extra vitamin A into the skin and also improve the peeling. Now, I like to have a fan on hand, and this just helps cool the skin between layers. So we're gonna go step by step through this. I'm gonna apply some gloves. Now I have a cold bowl of ice water with a rag. Now TCA peel is self-neutralizing. In the past, when I refer to neutralizing the skin, it's really more soothing the skin or cooling the skin down. So we're gonna be using the cold wash rag after we're done to soothe the skin. Before we get to that point, before we get started, I've double cleansed. Now we're going to alcohol swab the skin to make sure there's no oil residue. Now you can use these alcohol prep pads or gauze and regular bottled alcohol. These prep pads are kind of small, so sometimes I'll use a big sterile gauze and alcohol from the bottle just to really get everything, especially because often I will do the face, neck, and chest, which is a larger area. So with those little tiny alcohol pads, covering a larger area like the face, neck, and chest gets a little bit time consuming. So I'm gonna angle you down a little bit because today I do plan to treat my face, neck, and chest. Now I'm gonna tackle my neck and chest with only 1 to 2 layers of TCA and more layers on my face. And that's because my neck and chest tend to be more sensitive, which is very common. So I'm going to move on to my alcohol and a larger pad here so that I can get all of those areas a little more efficiently. And in between, using my handy fan to dry. These come in so handy for many things. It's one of my favorite Amazon purchases. Now that that has dried, I'm going to go ahead and alcohol swab everything again. It always makes my eyes water. The alcohol swabbing is important to make sure there's no grease or residue. You kind of want the skin to be dried out before a TCA peel. If the skin has any grease on it or residue that is blocking penetration, you will get poor results. Now, a barrier cream for areas that are really sensitive. I'm just going to do my lips, but some people will get the corner of their nose with the barrier cream. And I'm using the CeraVe or CeraVe healing ointment. If you're really sensitive around the corner of your eyes or under your eyes, you could put a little bit there too. I do want some TCA in those areas. They can get more irritated, the delicate areas like the under eyes, around the nose and around the mouth, especially the corners. Because I am doing my face, neck, and chest today, I will likely need more than one of these vials. So I'm going to go ahead and open up some sterile gauze. And I also have some Q-tips on hand because I'm going to spot treat a few areas of hyperpigmentation. This provides additional TCA in the areas that you need it more. So before we get started, the TCA is a medium depth peel. It can be a more shallow depth with just one layer, and it can be deeper with a full 5 layers. But as a general rule, it's considered a medium depth peel. When you put this on, typically people do not get peeling for about 3 or 4 days, and the entire healing process takes 7 to 10 days. We all heal at a different rate. Keep that in mind when planning your TCA peel, that you'll have a few days usually before you start peeling, and then the worst of the peeling is usually day 3 through like 7. So these bottles have a little band that you just pull off. This is from Platinum Skincare. I do have a discount code. I will show that on the screen, and you can find that in the comments below and also in the video description. So something important to note, I like to fold over my gauze like that, and you want to saturate the gauze completely. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn over this TCA peel and saturate my gauze. And then we're going to squeeze it so that, just a gentle squeeze so that it's not dripping on your face. You definitely don't want TCA dripping into your eyes. So now I'm going to go across my forehead, one side, then the other side, down my nose, get under my eyes, down my nasolabial fold, now if you have microblading, I need to refresh mine, so I'm not worried about masking my brows, but if you do, you might want to mask your brows with some Vaseline or the CeraVe healing ointment. I'm going to do my entire face first before I move on to, I'm just going to do up high on my eyelids. I don't want to burn my lower eyelids, are very delicate. Okay, little tiny sting here. I'm going to do my neck and chest after I do my face. So we are going to set a timer and wait for 5 minutes. Okay, we're almost done with the 5 minutes. This first pass didn't really hurt, a little tingling. I did not need my fan, so the burning was not there, but a little tingling. So, okay, 5 minutes is up. And now I'm going to take the same little gauze because it's already damp. So I don't want to use a new dry one because it's going to suck up too much of the TCA and I don't want to waste it. So I'm just going to resaturate a little bit on this damp gauze, making sure it's not dripping. I didn't put too much extra on there. And we're going to go over this with number 2. This is pass number 2. Being careful around the eyes. I always like to do my nasolabial folds. Now a little bit more sting this time, not unbearable, but definitely feeling it more with the second pass. And I like to fold it and just get the upper lip. Okay, I'm feeling it, so I'm going to use my fan. And I'm going to set my timer again for 5 minutes. And I will be back in 5 minutes and we'll do the third pass. Something to note is that the stinging or burning sensation is kind of intense the first minute or two into that 5-minute window, and it dies down toward the end. So hang in there, the fan is very helpful. We're on the 4th pass now with the 13% TCA peel. So I'm going to add a little bit more TCA to my gauze. And still, I'm not seeing any frosting. And not that you have to have frosting, but if you get frosting, that's a pretty good sign you don't need to move on to another pass. And no more than 5 passes. Let me fold this so it's not too close to my eye. The erythema or redness is normal. Ooh, it's spicy this time. Oof. So I think this 4th pass might be my last because we are going to top this off with the Dream Peel. So I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes, get my fan going, and I'll be back in 5. Okay, that was the 4th pass. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but they're starting to get a little bit of frosting. It almost looks a little hazy on the surface of the skin. That may not pick up super well on camera, but it's not everybody frosts the same. Some people will get patches of really white frosting. Some people will get like more of a haziness where it's a little bit of like blanching frosting on the surface of the skin. So I don't think I'm going to do a 5th pass, but I am going to spot treat. So I'm going to take a Q-tip. Now this can be done on wrinkles. It can be done on spots of hyperpigmentation that are stubborn. So I'm going to do this spot of hyperpigmentation right here. And because I have enlarged pores right between my brows and a little bit of wrinkling there, I'm going to give myself a little extra TCA in that area. I'm going to give that 5 minutes and I will be right back. So you might be able to see where there's a little more frosting here, which is good. That'll help with those enlarged pores. So I'm going to go ahead and soothe my skin now with a wet cloth. So I've had this soaking in ice water and I'm just going to go ahead and press it against my skin. The cold water is very soothing. So oftentimes people will refer to this as neutralizing. The TCA itself is self-neutralizing. It'll stop working after a while, but this is very soothing to the skin and kind of brings it back to a more normal feeling, sort of normal. It still will feel like a pretty intense sunburn. I like to do this rinsing part about 4 or 5 times. I'm going to dry my skin. And then we're going to put a layer of the Vitamin A Dream Peel on. For this, I'm going to take off my gloves and then sanitize my hands. I'm going to apply a little bit more of the CeraVe Healing Ointment to my lips. And some people will apply it just to the closest part of their under eyes because that area is very sensitive, but I'm going to go ahead and do it without applying any barrier cream to my under eyes. You can also mask off the eyebrows if you have microblading. This is like an oily type substance. I did 2 pumps. And we're just going to pat that in. We don't want to rub. Okay, you guys, so I'm going to move on to my neck and chest, and I'm going to do 1 to 2 passes. I'm going to do that off camera, but I am going to document the entire healing process, and that's going to be a separate video so you can see before and after pictures and a healing timeline day by day. That'll come to you in 10 to 14 days, depending on how long it takes for me to heal. So you'll be able to see the flaking, peeling of the face, neck, and chest. The face was 4 layers plus some spot treatment. And the neck and chest is going to be 1 to 2 layers, and I will keep you posted on what I decide to do with that in my next video. I just don't want this video to get super long. The process for the neck and chest is the same. You do your passes, you wait for 5 minutes, 1 to 2 layers for me for the neck and chest because that tends to be more sensitive for me, but each person has to determine that on their own. The thing that I would stress about a TCA peel, whether you do it as a standalone peel or you add the Dream Peel at the end, you can also do it with Jesners, starting with the Jesners, moving to TCA and topping with the Dream Peel. The thing I would stress is using a lower percentage of TCA, in this case 13%, and doing more passes. Using a really strong TCA doesn't necessarily give you better results. You can damage and hurt your skin, so always build up. In my next treatment, I will do 5 full passes, and then at that point, I'll probably move up to a stronger TCA. I have made the mistake in the past of using a strong TCA and not feeling like I necessarily needed to do that. I think we feel like the stronger TCA is going to give us better results and better skin, and that's not always the case. Keep in mind, if you have darker skin, using the Fade Bright for 10 to 14 days to prep the skin to avoid post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation or melasma, discoloration. This helps a lot if you have a little bit darker skin. It can also be used post-treatment. So this is a really great product. Now I'm going to let this Dream Peel sit on for 6 to 7 hours. This is morning here. So if you do it at night before you go to sleep, sleep on it and then gently rinse your face in the morning. If you do it in the morning, let it sit on the Dream Peel for 6 to 7 hours, rinse your face gently and top it with your post-care cream. I like to use the Avene Cyclofade. I've talked about it a million times. Use whatever works for you. Platinum Skincare has some really great oils that are wonderful for post-treatment, so you can always consider that. Look at what they have to offer, but this is my go-to. So once I rinse my face after 6 to 7 hours, I will top it with the Avene Cyclofade. I will do that several times throughout the day, gently pressing it into my skin to keep the skin hydrated and covered. It's also important to know that your skin's going to be super sensitive, so avoid being in the sun when you do go outside to run errands. Wear a hat and always protect your skin with an SPF of 30 or greater. I tend to use 40 or 50 SPF in the days following my treatment, well, all the time, but especially after a treatment. If you have any questions about a TCA peel, please leave them in the comment section and I will do my best to answer them. If you've done TCA peels at home, let me know how they've worked out for you and what strength you'd like to use for best results. I appreciate each and every one of you and thank you for sharing a little bit of your day with me. I will see you in my next video.